So I will not give medical or doctoral advice.
So is that a disclaimer?
That is a disclaimer. But what I do advise is if you are on an addiction that is, shall we call it a substance addiction, that is now becoming out of control, seek counsel from outside. Seek counsel from those who are aware, that they may assist you, that you may gain the knowledge, that you may gain the advice that you need to conquer this, to absorb it into yourself, to integrate that which is this cause. Because understand, every addiction, every habit is born out of an aspect. An aspect is a part of you that you at one time created for some reason to protect yourself, whether it is guilt, whether it is anger, whether it is fear, whether it is self-preservation, that when the hooter or the horn blows on the car, you jump back out of the way. Every aspect is born out of a creative need of protection. What have you done with it that is now just hanging around you, causing your physicality and your energy so much discomfort that it is now becoming an addiction?
What about overthinking? I mean, that's not the sort of thing that you can go to the doctor with and go, excuse me, I'm overthinking.
Breathe at home.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is acknowledge first and foremost that you have this addiction of being over analytical. There is nothing wrong with a mind that is able to analyze and able to formulate certain answers and solutions. But where it becomes to the point where you are constantly thinking, constantly trying to work things out, that you cannot rest within yourself until you have done this. And when you have come to the end of that, there is yet something else to figure out, and then something else to figure out. And so it is that your mind does not cease. That is an addiction. And what you need to do is acknowledge that this is a problem. This is a situation that you no longer wish around you. And then what you would do is you would look at it and say, well, this is an aspect. Who created the aspect? I did. What do I do with it? Well, if you created the aspect, it is no good you resisting it and saying, I resist you, I release you, I let you go, I push you away from myself, because that is not going to work. What will happen is it will return to you yet in a different manner. Yes, it will come back to you perhaps 100-fold stronger. So what you need to do is actually acknowledge the fact that there is this aspect. Take yourself to a quiet space, your bedroom, your office, somewhere where it is you and you alone, and sit and breathe. And ask the aspect to stand in front of you, in your energy, to just present itself to you. And then ask it two questions. Are you mine? In other words, do you belong to me totally, or perhaps are you part of a family aspect, a family habit, a family construct? Yes? And if it is answering the answer you get inside of you that it is both family and you, then say that which is family, return to the family, return to where it came from. That which is mine, remain here. And when the separation has been done, and it will do this because it is a set rule of the universe, that which is not yours must return to where it has come from. Yes? You are not sending it out into somewhere that it is just going to float around. It is returning as per instruction from whence it came, from the originator of that aspect. You then deal with that which stands in front of you. How do you deal with this? You breathe at home. Now remember, every part of you and every one of you have that which I refer to as the I am, the core of energy that is within you, your creative source, which is in the just below the diaphragm, within that which is the soul center of the energy body, yes? And that's where all of these are created from. So if you allow yourself to breathe and to center and to ground and to be in a place of connection, and then you allow that aspect to come home. Think of it this way. It is a child that has knocked on your door and says, may I return home? May I come home? I'm ready to come home. Would any parent turn that child away? I doubt it. They would open their arms and say, we have been waiting for you. With open arms and perhaps with tears. And so what it is you would breathe that aspect home as a long-lost part of you, a long-lost child. And it comes in through the breath. Now it may have a huge amount of story around it, and all you need to do is release the story. The story is the fluff. And fluff is like candy floss. When you mix it with water or you mix it with that which is the esoteric water, it dissolves. It is not necessary. So you release the story, but you breathe the core aspect back into you. Now you may feel emotion. Feel it. Cry. Release the emotion. Do not stay in the emotion. Breathe through that, breathe through that, breathe through that. Just constantly breathe. Placing your hand upon your belly and breathing into that place of your belly, into that place of the creative part of you. And when you know it is done, you know. Because what happens is that aspect returns to you and you get that sense of almost esoteric bliss, almost that peaceful, everything is okay. And you begin to breathe easier, not so, how do I put it, forced, not so concentrated. It is an easier breath now. And so you stay in that motion, you stay in that place, you stay in that breath, and then you begin to love yourself, begin to breathe love, connect to the breath of love for yourself at that moment, of just coming into a place of acceptance. You've just brought home this particular aspect. And you breathe it home and you begin to love yourself. Now, what happens after that?
I'm feeling better already.
Now, there may be attributes of your learning that will keep you perhaps in a learned behavior patterning of what it is that the aspect has been living on for all these years. It is now up to you to believe first and foremost that what you have done is brought this aspect home. You do not have to act in this manner anymore. Then you have to set in place for yourself the release of the learned behaviors. Now, how do you do that? Easy. You change the way you think. For argument's sake, if you know that by driving home, shall we say, past the movie house on your way home, inclines you to want to always go in and watch a movie before you return home, go home a different way. Change the habit. Change what it is that you've been doing that's strengthened the aspect and the learned behavior that you've done. If you've always, shall we say, eaten 4 helpings, make sure you only eat 3 or 2. Change how you do things. Create for yourself a way of relearning and reach out. Reach out to those around you who love you and who are connected with you at a heart level and say, this is what I'm doing. I'm changing my way of learning. And I ask you not to tell me I'm doing it wrong, but to come to me if you see me repeating the habit and saying, are you aware you've just done ABC? But in love. Because then what that does is it brings to your awareness the learned behavioral pattern.
So, in essence then, if we're changing the behaviour, we're changing the neural pathways.
We are changing the neural pathways. We are creating new pathways within the brain that says, this is the way of doing it. Now understand, when the brain has been constructed, you've gone this way all the time. And now all of a sudden you want to go this way. So what's happening is the brain is thinking, no, this is the way that's going, and now you want to go this way. Why are you wanting to go this way? This is the way you're supposed to do it. And what happens now is it says, okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to watch what's happening. All right, this is achieving the same result without having to go through here. So we're going to watch. And then what happens is this gets the same desired result of what is happening. So this neural activity no longer ceases to be needed. So it, in a manner of speaking, disconnects. And here is the new neural pattern. Yes? So this is what will take you on. But understand this, you have to train, you have to create, you have to make this work for this to be disconnected.
So I understand exactly what you're saying, because I've been implementing this in my life in different areas. But what's, say, relationship stuff? You're in a relationship. Relationships are a big thing, I think, for people, because they're the most bigger driver of aspects.
Oh, yes.
Say you're in an intimate relationship and you keep attracting the same type of relationship. It's how are you changing that pattern and you're actually in the relationship already?
That is going to need a lot, perhaps some whiteboards and some
A little bit more in depth. The sort of stuff we actually do in self-mastery anyway.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
But understand this, that if you have within yourself the attitude or the aspect that says, I need you to fix me, to make me whole. If I have you in my life, I will be complete. That will never work. Because until you come to the realization that you are complete within yourself, you are whole within yourself, and you do not need another human or another being to complete you in your life, to make your life worthwhile and worth living, then you're going to be attracting broken people to you because you're broken. The aspects of your life are going to continue telling you that you need something to make you better. But when you start bringing the aspects home, when you start welcoming these aspects home, fear of rejection, fear of love, fear of all these different things that make you feel that you need somebody else to fix you. When you fix yourself, when you come to the realization that you can be complete within yourself, you then start sending out should we call it a subatomic wave signal to the rest of the cosmic world, to the universe that says, I actually don't need somebody, but I would love a complementary partner, a complementary person to walk beside me that I may have fun with, that I may enjoy life with, that I can discuss, I can debate in the safety of knowing that it doesn't truly affect me, the outcome of any of the debates, the outcome of any of the arguments, because I am complete within myself. Does this mean you will not get hurt, that your physicality, that your emotions will not get bruised? Absolutely not, because humans are humans, and you're having a human experience, even though you are an energetic being. Yes? What will happen is how you treat those hurts. Do you allow them to become new aspects, or do you recognize that you do not need to hold on to them, and therefore you breathe, you release, and you carry on? Yes?
Sounds great.
Do you think that is a perfect relationship?
I've never seen a perfect relationship. Then again, that's my perception. What is a perfect relationship?
Well, this is it, you see. This is the ideal when you come into a place of understanding that you can become this. You may not be it. You may never attain it. But if you work within yourself on these parts of you, what begins to happen is you begin to no longer extrematize the pendulum swing and the different paradigms of emotion and paradigms of thought. And what happens is you get the 15% either side of the pendulum swing, which allows you to experience the emotion, the experiential things in life, and you still have a place of neutral balance. You can still come from a place of balance and say, I can experience this, but now I know how to deal with it.
And ultimately, it's about coming back to yourself, your own experience, your own release. And anything that's not serving you needs to be, integrated.
Absolutely.
Basically.
Integration is the key for most, if not all, of the parts of the human. Because remember, it is an old saying, and I will borrow it again and again for as long as needed. But what you resist persists.
Sure does. Thank you, Safita. That's been very, very helpful, and it's been great. And you can visit our website, www.ascensionexplorers.com.